Good evening, sir.
Very good evening නෝද? අද කට්ටිය මම පොඩි ටෙක්ස්ට් එකක් දැම්මා කට්ටියට අද ඔය ඇස්සෙන්ද දන්නේ නැහැ. ඔයාගේ මේ අසයින්මන්ට් එක මම අද රෑත් බලන්න හම්බ වෙන එකක් නැහැ. මම හෙට අනිවාර්යෙන් බලලා දෙන්නම් හොඳේ.
හරි සර්.
මේ කට්ටිය නැත්තේ සමාධිත් නැහැ නේද අද? නැත්තේ. Lanka is there. Yes. වෙදේක නම් එච්චර හෙල්දි වෙදේකක් නෙමෙයිනේ.
ඔව් දෙයින් දැම්මා.
ඒ දන්න. අද කවුද? ඔය කට්ටිය නැත්තේ.
වතුර පිරලා බ්ලොක් වෙලා දන්නේ නැහැ පාරවල්.
මම දන්නේ. සමහරවිට නෑ. We'll wait for about 2 minutes. Anyway. Asanka, are you new?
Yeah, I'm just joining today.
Oh. Okay. So, which means you did CIM somewhere else and joined here, or you straight away came after the MBA?
No, straight away I came after the MBA.
Okay. You have to put a bit of additional effort, huh? Because it's only 1.5 months, not even 1.5 months. Right? Exactly 1 month and 10 days. Can do, not that you can't. You can do, but you have to commit a bit. Where are you working, by the way?
I work for Dialogue.
Dialogue. Okay. Right. Dialogue as?
Project manager.
Project manager. Right. What is your first degree? Is it into marketing?
No, it's I'm BSc one, like mathematics and statistics.
Okay. Then of course you have no challenges, I feel, right? Because the brains, you all have practiced now.
Yeah.
You'll be able to get it. The only thing you just have to, look at what are the previous recordings and get the theory models, right?
Okay.
So, and how those theories are implemented, because we don't discuss theories, but we look at, okay, how we implement theories and move on. So, සමාධි අපි පරණ recordings group එකේ දාලා නේද තියෙන්නේ?
ඔව් සර් මම අපව ෂෙයා කරනවා හෙට අද රෙකෝඩින් එකත් එක්ක.
You better share the whole recordings, right?
Oh.
Now, Asanka is a new. Asanka is a newcomer. Who is this person? Natisera.
Yes, he's also new, sir.
Huh?
He's also new. Prasanna, new student.
Okay. Prasanna, from where are you? Are you after an MBA or what? Prasanna? Prasanna? Okay. Right. Asanka, are you doing all three subjects or only, I mean, you are doing GMD also, right?
No, so plan to have like all subjects.
All the subjects, okay. No, can do, still you can, but the amount of time you have to allocate a day, bit high. So that is the only difference. You have to commit and do it. Can. Only thing you have to refer whatever the previous recordings, the other one also Prasanna. You also have to refer previous recordings, and you all have to make sure that you're on the right track. And guys, when you're referring recordings, right, make sure you're referring in proper flow. Dates එක්කම refer කරන dates යන පිළිවෙලටම refer කරන. The reason why I'm saying because we are discussing the assignment throughout. Usually what others are doing, they cover the syllabus and ask you all to do the assignment in that way. No? But my approach is a bit different. I'm taking the assignment throughout. From the day one, I'm taking the assignment. So question by question, I'm discussing the answer. So that is how it happens. So some questions we managed to complete in one day, but certain questions we were lagging even for 2-3 days, depending on the weightage. Now, the question what I'll be taking the task 2 part B today, same as previously, because we were discussing this for last week as well, and I'm taking the continuation of the same thing. And we had couple of repeat session also. 1 or 2 repeat sessions also for CEC and CDC and even the GMD, but refer them also. Don't miss a single recording, refer all the recording. Those who are new, refer all the recordings and do your assignment and send me, right? Whatever your workings, you send me. Whenever time permits, I will check and give my feedback so that you all can correct whatever based on whatever the feedbacks. Don't wait till the last moment to get the assignment checked. That won't happen practically, because if you give me at the last moment, I will not be able to give my whole commitment, because checking the whole assignment and allocating full time to check the assignment will be a bit of a challenging. So whatever workings, those who are there know how we do, right? So whatever you do, send me, then I will give my feedback so that you all can correct the assignment and keep yourself ready for final submission. And you all can do the formatting part later, because but you all have to make sure that you're developing your content properly for answer. Your answer structure is crucial. And I don't think any, Samadhi, one thing, are you there? Samadhi, no?
Yes, sir. Oh,
Samadhi, now we had a discussion with CIM and I need a meeting individually with the students if anyone got rejected last time. I think GMD we don't have. Now we have rejected those 2 students from our side also. But CDC, CC just check. I think 1 or 2 they are, to ask them to have a chat with me individually. Individually, I need a discussion with them. මම දන්නේ නැහැ මෙතන ඉන්නවද කියලා. Right? Individually, I need a discussion with them. So you can have a chat
Reject
them with them
means-
separate.
Yeah, null and void, right?
Null and void. ඒගොල්ලෝ එක වෙනම පොඩක් කතා කළා. So I need a one-to-one chat with them.
Okay. Okay, so I'll
Hi.
arrange.
Hi. Okay. So anyway, for this ongoing batch, the one-to-one discussions, we will be starting from end of October. The samadhi kiweda. End of October again, අපි පටන් ගන්නේ one-to-one discussions.
Oh,
End of October, we will be starting one-to-one discussions. So sooner the better. So make sure that you are utilizing. Right. Okay, we'll start. Prasanna, you're new. Harish, not new. Yeah, Prasanna, you're from. Yeah, are you after an MBA or are you
Actually, after MBA.
after MBA? Okay, your first degree connected to marketing or what?
Actually, I have a physical science degree in Colombo University. Then I complete the SLIM and professional market Asia Pacific. Both I have done.
Okay.
And
You have the PG dip and the
professional
CPM,
market.
right?
Yeah.
Right.
CPM,
Okay.
yes.
Cool. And then you have a background. Perfectly okay. Right. No, because my concern was the theory part, so you all have some idea, no? So then it's okay.
Yeah.
We'll be able to teach.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
Right. Okay, let's move on with the today's one. Guys, now we were discussing the task 2 part 2 last week. Those who are not there, please refer recordings from the beginning and send me whatever you're working so that we can go for corrections. So I'll be taking this question once again, the task 2 part B, and there we were talking about a couple of key areas, how we address the task 2 part B. Right. Increase further. Okay, let's see. Let's get this. Right. Right. Now see, there's a recommend newcomers start from here. Just look at what we are doing and how we are taking and refer previous recordings and move on. So we'll, whatever you all need to clarify from me, we can have another discussion separately, right? So there are 2 newcomers, so we'll take them. So recommend and justify. So we know you have to recommend and your recommendation should be justified by yourself. You have to give the reason why you are recommending. You have to give reason. Why? Right? Why? You have to recommend and you have to reason out why. So we were talking about, they said, okay, you have to give recommendation and with the reasons for 3 entrepreneurial approaches. For 3 entrepreneurial approaches, we were talking about the opportunity recognition. We were talking about effectuation. We were talking about the lean thinking, circular economy. Then we were talking about the Kaizen. we were talking about the just-in-time. So couple of entrepreneurial approaches organizations might take to operate the business, right? So you need to look at, we were discussing this, so you need to look at, as we discussed, what are the best entrepreneurial approaches your organization can select. I'm not going to repeat these areas, which means the entrepreneurial approaches I'm not going to repeat today. So whatever the possible entrepreneurial approaches, 3 entrepreneurial approaches, you all have to, match for your company. So they are asking, recommend with the justification the 3 entrepreneurial approaches that could be used to support the theme objective. Now you're selecting a particular theme. You're selecting a particular theme. So the newcomers, once again, right? Those who are new, when you're doing this CIM assignments, except case study, other assignments, you all have to select a theme out of the 4 themes given by CIM. There's something called a theme is given by CIM, right? So we need to match the theme and do the assignment, right? So your answers should be, structured around the theme what you're selecting. So 4 themes given, you can select only 1 theme for the whole assignment. This is I'm repeating for the newcomers, telling for the newcomers. So there are 4 themes given. Right, I have a separate briefing for theme justification, theme discussion also. Refer those classroom recordings as well. So out of the 4 themes that are given, you all have to select 1 theme to do the assignment, right? So these are the 4 themes. මම මේක පාටම theme කියලා කිව්වම ඔයගොල්ලන්ට idea එකක් එන එකක් නෑ. So that is the reason I said this. So refer first few days recordings, so that you will get an idea, okay, the meaning of a theme and how we address, how we look at the theme, how we select the theme and a company. So you all have to select a company and a theme to do the assignment. So make sure that you're selecting the right theme and a right company to proceed your assignment, right? So your question, what they said, okay, recommend and justify 3 entrepreneurial approaches that could be used to support the theme objective. Now, entrepreneurial approaches. As an entrepreneur, what type of approaches you might take in your organization? What you have selected. If you're a financial sector organization, you all have to select the 3 entrepreneurial approaches what you might select for your organization. If you're talking about a manufacturing type organization in your assignment, you have to select entrepreneurial approaches that are matching with that process. So like that, there are few entrepreneurial approaches given in your syllabus. So this is your syllabus document. There are few entrepreneurial approaches given in your syllabus document. So you're taking 3 out of those entrepreneurial approaches and match with your company and the team. Match with your company and the team to explain your answer. So we were discussing these entrepreneurial approaches last time, right? We were talking about what do you mean by effectuation, what do you mean by opportunity recognition, what do you mean by lean thinking, right? What do you mean by circular economy, Kaizen, just in time, ඔය වගේ ඒවා ටිකක් අපි කතා කරා. what type of approaches you can take in your business along with the theme what you have selected. Along with the theme what you have selected. First thing, you should know the meaning, you should know the mechanism of these. එක පාටම ගෙනල්ලා ඔබන්න එපා themes තුනක්. You can't do that. මුලින්ම බලන්න මේවයි meaning එක මොකද? Effectuation කියන්නේ මොකක්ද? Doing what you know, knowing what you do in simple explanation. Opportunity recognition කියන්නේ මොකද? You do the environmental scanning and identify whatever the opportunity is and recognize the possible approach and do. Lean thinking, minimize the wastage and enhance the efficiency, right? Circular economy, recycling, remanufacturing process, you enhance the productivity through them. Kaizen, the continuous improvement approach, what you bring into your operation. Just in time, where you start your entire process along with the project you receive from one end, so-called client. So I was just summarizing, right? So you need to have a clear idea about those entrepreneurial approaches. So out of those entrepreneurial approaches, you need to look at, okay, what are the 3 best entrepreneurial approaches I can bring along with the team. Now, let's say if you are selecting the theme where you talk about the value addition, the value chain, enhancing the value chain. How am I going to enhance the value chain? Opportunity recognition, you can enhance, right? Using effectuation, you can enhance. Using Kaizen, you can enhance. So how are you going to enhance your value chain? Because the value chain is the theme. And with that theme in the company, what you are talking about, based on the business model, what you are practicing right now, you look at මොනවගේ entrepreneurial approaches they undo. Right? You select them. Right? Now, when you, okay, this part we were talking about, up to this point, we were talking about last week. Right? We were talking about last week. Not from the newcomers, but those who were there. Any question in the first part of, from the first part of the question? Anything you need to clarify from the first part of the question? Yes, Prasan. Okay, you are new anyway.
No,
Yeah, Sank, you have
sorry,
any
sorry,
question?
sorry.
Yeah, it just like the first, like when you when we answering the question, it should be like kind of a case study manner, or just like bring up the theory in a like theoretical way.
No, it's like this. You're selecting a company, right? You're selecting a company to do the case, do this assignment, right? So
Okay.
we are implementing whatever the learning outcomes to your company along with the theme what you have selected. So that is why I said, okay, the newcomers might get confused initially, right? So you're selecting a company to do the assignments for CDC and CEC. Corporate digital communication and the creating entrepreneurial change. 2 subjects. You're selecting a company of your choice and a theme, right? So based on that company and the theme only, we are answering this. There's no specific case study given. So the theme is given. You need to select the theme and you need to select the company. Based on these 2, only you are answering your question, which is given in different tasks.
Clear.
Right? So now let's say as an example, what is your company? You said Dialogue. If you have selected Dialogue as an example, right? You need to look at what are the entrepreneurial approaches. I'm not going to talk about the theme here. what are the entrepreneurial approaches dialogue can bring and practice, right? Now, dialogue can practice lean thinking, dialogue can practice Kaizen. I'm just saying, okay, dialogue might practice opportunity recognition, right? So let's say you have selected these three based on the operation. So you're justifying how dialogue can implement the lean thinking, Kaizen, and the opportunity recognition since you have selected these three. And when you're talking about how dialogue is implementing this lean thinking, Kaizen, and opportunity recognition as three entrepreneurial approaches, you're matching that along with the theme what you have selected. As an example, out of the four themes, let's say you selected the let's say you
Competitive
select
advantage. Competitive advantage.
Okay, let's say you have selected the competitive advantage through value chain. Anyway, you're talking about enhancing the competitive advantage in all the teams. So enhancing the competitive advantage through value chain, let's say as an example, you have selected. So what do? How do you how do you practice lean thinking? You have to talk about what do you do inside dialogue to practice lean thinking, and at the same time, how that will enhance your value chain. How you practice the Kaizen, inside Kaizen in the sense the continuous approaches, continuous improvement in your entire processes or process. So how do you practice and what improvements you are taking? You are explaining how you are practicing Kaizen inside the dialogue, along with how that approach will effectively contribute to enhance the value chain of dialogue. Opportunity recognition also you identified as one of the entrepreneurial approach. You explain how the opportunity recognition could be implemented inside dialogue and what things you do to enhance the opportunity recognition inside the dialogue, while the opportunity recognition contribution to enhance the value chain of your dialogue operation. So that is the whole approach they are expecting here in this question. To do that, you need to understand first the meaning of these entrepreneurial approaches and how because not all the entrepreneurial approaches might properly suitable for each one of the organizations, right? Now, let's say you talk about just-in-time mechanism. Let's say you talk about lean thinking. So certain entrepreneurial approaches might not suit for service-oriented. Certain might not suit for just the product-oriented. Certain might not suit for manufacturing. Certain might not suit for where you see multiple organizations as the owners of the business. Holding company එකක් ගමු. තවත් companies 3-4ක් තමයි මේ company එකේ ownership එක තියෙන්නේ. So that type of can we use the effectuation in that case. So like that, you depending on the company, you're selecting the best 3 entrepreneurial approaches you can implement while enhancing the effectiveness of your team, right? While achieving the effectiveness or the objectives of the team. Anyway, since you were mentioning the competitive advantage one, throughout the CEC themes, what we discussed, we are talking about enhancing the competitive advantage, which means we have multiple competitors. Now, let's say as an example, you talk about dialogue. You have Hutch here, you have Mobitel here as an example. You have Mobitel, you have Hutch. So these are the competitors. So your expectation, your approach in this subject is to enhance the competitive advantage than your Mobitel and the Hutch as competitors. Right now, or else you can take even the SLT there as one of the fixed line service provider, depending on how you identify them as the competitor. If you are talking only about the mobile operation, you can take the other two and discuss the competitor, because your competitive edge in the sense, your competitive advantage in the sense, you are enhancing your values better than your competitor to attract your target market and the target audience. So that is the competitive advantage is all about. So anyway, when it comes for the whole CEC assignment, right? Good that you raised the question. The whole CEC assignment with whatever the themes we discussed. Managing strategic change for what? To enhance the competitive advantage. Value chain management for what? To enhance the competitive advantage. Managing the organization sustainability for what? To enhance the competitive advantage, for long-term competitive advantage. Improving and enhancing the relationship marketing is for what? To enhance the competitive advantage. The whole effort in this assignment is to enhance the competitive edge of the company what you have selected. So competitive advantage is not limited only for one particular theme. So all the themes, the whole few themes are talking. Now the competitive advantage, now let's say here, this one. How you manage the relationship marketing to enhance competitive advantage. So your relationship marketing strategies, how you build a relationship with your customers, how you build your relationship with your suppliers, how you build your relationship with your channel intermediaries, franchisers, how you build your relationship with your stakeholders like investors type stakeholders, all the others also stakeholders, but let's say investors. So all these things are connected to the relationship marketing of the wider spectrum of your stakeholders. So under theme number 4, what do you talk about? You talk about how you enhance the company's dialogues relationship marketing to better strong competitive edge in the organization. Now, why investors should invest in dialogue shares and not in Mobitel shares, right? So that also the competitive advantage, because the investors are getting a better return. So from that angle, you are maintaining a strong competitive edge. So that is why they come and invest in your shares and not someone else's shares. So that also competitive advantage. So why customer comes to you to buy your SIM connection, your data connection, because your competitive advantages are better through the relationship what you maintain through channels. Let's say as an example, client goes to your outlet, client goes to Hutch and the Mobitel outlet, and they identify your approach in the frontline staff members are so friendly and they give details, they are pumping information, they are matching the customer requirement along with the packages they have, and they try to build a rapport with the client, and the client sees somewhat positive approach in dialogue than Mobitel and Hutch. So you will bring the competitive edge. What if the other way around? So your Mobitel or the Hutch will have a better competitive edge. Your effort in the theme number 4 is to enhance the relationship among all the stakeholder spectrum, all the stakeholders connected to dialogue, and enhance the competitive advantage. So that is the theme number 4. Now the theme number 3, organization sustainability. Sustainability, you talk about using the triple bottom line model, the people sustainability, planet sustainability, and the financial or the profit sustainability. So here, the theme is focusing mainly on the environmental sustainability. You can touch the people and the profit also, which means the social and the financial sustainability, economic sustainability also. But the theme is highly focusing on environmental sustainability. Now, you're enhancing your competitive advantages and the competitive value using environmental sustainability to attract more of your clients, more of your investors, bring more, much better suppliers for your organizations like that. you're enhancing your environmental sustainability effort to attract stakeholders and build competitive edge. Now, let's say because of your environmental sustainability effort, good suppliers, the renowned suppliers are started supplying you because of your environmental sustainability, ecological values, your CSR activities. They prefer working with you and you're getting good suppliers. When you get good suppliers, you finally cater your clients with the good products and services. Right. So finally, you're enhancing your competitive advantage. So by managing the environmental sustainability effort, you're getting good suppliers from one side. That's also one of the stakeholders. You're enhancing your values from the supply end, and also at the same time, you're enhancing your values from the customer side. The competitive edge you're enhancing from both sides. When your market is enhancing with the better customer enhancement, your share values, your profitability will increase. When your profitability will increase, what will happen? The shareholders will invest your organization better than other organization, more than the other organization, because the return on capital employed is higher in your dialogue better than Mobitel or wherever the other places. So competitive advantages you're enhancing in many ways just by managing the environmental sustainability. That's also competitive advantage. And you talk about the value chain. When you look at the porter's value chain, which means you are talking about the front line and the back end activity, how you are finally enhance the overall value chain of the organization, thereby enhance the competitive advantage. How you manage your back end and improve their efficiency, accuracy, effectiveness, everything, and add values to the entire process. How you analyze, how you manage the enhance the front line and enhance the value to the overall operation. And with these value additions, what will happen? You can enhance your margins, you can enhance your profitability, you can enhance your market share. Finally, you are enhancing your competitive edge of the business, right, in this environment. Similarly, you talk about the strategic change. So strategic change, the market which is dynamic, which is keep on changing. So you can't be static in a changing environment. So what do? You would go into a strategic change for what? Once again, to have a competitive edge in the organization and or to be stronger than your competitor, right? You're changing your organization. You're taking a strategic change in product, strategic change in market approach, strategic change in pricing, strategic change in you name whatever. To do what? To enhance your competitive edge of the business, to gain the competitive advantage of the business. So throughout these four themes, you are talking about enhancing the competitive advantage by doing certain activities connected to the themes as expected in the questions. Right? So විතර දැන් competitive advantage කියන්නේ එකකට විතරක් limit වෙච්ච එකක් නෙමෙයි. මේ හැම question එකක්ම අපි address කරපු අපි කතා කරන්නේ අපි competitive advantage එක enhance කරන විදිය connecting to the theme. Connecting to the theme. පැහැදිලිද? Clear.
Clear. Thanks.
Refer recordings. එතකොට අපිට වාට අසංක you and even the Prasanna, you can get an idea about how the themes are working. Themes are connected. එතකොට themes එකයි you all have to select company. Prasanna, which company you are working?
I am working for the brand. It is apparel sector. It is an international. It's based on USA companies.
I can get you. What?
Actually, in apparel sector, it is
manufacturing.
apparel manufacturing. Actually, it is not Sri Lankan office, USA office. We are
It's a
like
buying
working
office.
as a buying office. Yes, actually.
Okay, cool. So, I mean, you can select your company and a theme and work on it.
Yeah.
Perfectly okay.
Okay, sir.
So first you have to identify the themes and the company.
Right. Okay,
Right?
sir.
Themes and
Okay,
the
sir.
company. So read the themes, refer recordings. We have given a clear briefing on the themes also. So
Okay.
refer them and do it.
Okay, thank you, sir.
No worries. Others, any questions? මේක ඇත්තටම මහ ලොකු දෙයක් නෑ. මම හැමදාම කියනවා වගේ මේක මහ ලොකු දෙයක් නෑ. This is not rocket science. This is not engineering. This is not mechanical, electrical, or artificial intelligence and robotics නෑ මෙතන. Right? හරියටම ගත්තොත් මෙතන තියෙන common sense. Right? But අපිට නැත්තෙත් ඒක නේදනේ පොඩි අවුලක් තියෙන්නේ. Right? So marketing කියන්නේ ඇත්තටම guys common sense. ඉතින් ඒක අර පොඩ්ඩක් fine tune කරගන්න එකේ පොඩි challenge එකක් තමයි තියෙන්නේ. Any question? If not, we can move on with the part 2. Right. Look at the part 2. Not the part 2. Part 2 කියන බෑකට. Next part of the second part of the question. Okay. Part 2. No? Okay. Second part of the question. Your answer should include the creative techniques for idea generation. Now look at this. Now look at this. Now, what do you mean by idea generation, first of all? What do you mean by idea generation? Just think, right? Idea generation. For you to run your organization, you always need the business-related ideas and information. If you are to develop a new product, if you are to implement a new process, if you are to come up with, let's say as an example, new pricing strategy, if you are to come up with the new logistics strategy, new channel intermediary strategy, you can't just do it. You need ideas, you need informations, right? You need information. So what do? You might do research and collect those ideas and different ways you do, right? Now, here the question, guys, they said what initially they asked you all to look at the 3 entrepreneurial approaches. And now let's say as an example, you are taking, you're looking at the lean thinking as one of the entrepreneurial approaches. So, if you are to enhance your lean thinking approach, you need proper ideas, you need proper information. Okay, lean thinking එක හරියට enhance කරගෙන effectively implement කරගෙන අපේ competitive edge එක enhance කරගෙන අපේ team objectives achieve කරගෙන ඉස්සරහට යන්න we need to have proper ideas, we need to have proper information to implement it. So here in this question, when you're talking about these entrepreneurial approaches, you have to suggest the way where you can collect ideas, generate ideas to enhance your approaches. As an example, you talk about lean thinking, right? So to make the lean thinking effective or to make the lean thinking productive, so you talk about the way you implement. Also, to make it effective and to make it productive. So how do you gather ideas from other sources? So you need ideas. Lean thinking එක එක operation වලට එක විදියට, because not the lean thinking, the concept is same, but the way you implement it to a manufacturing plant, like, okay, let's say garment manufacturing industry or automobile manufacturing industry, or let's say as an example, the vehicle service center, or let's say as an example, the logistic operation. So lean thinking as a concept or the model is same, but the implementation is different. Depending on the business model, you're practicing the implementation approach different. So you need to look at, okay, if I'm to implement lean thinking, for me to have a proper approach on it, how do I collect ideas to make it more effective? What are the best ways to collect ideas from this? So you need to look at. So idea generation mechanism to make your entrepreneurial approach also, you all have to suggest along with the entrepreneurial approach. දැන් මේ ideas අපි කොහෙන්ද අපි layman අපි ඔක්කොම theories පැත්තකින් තියමු. හරි, lean thinking එක implement කරනවා. දැන් lean thinking එක implement කරන්න management එක decide කරගත්තා. management එක මේක නිකන් දන්නවා lean thinking, නමුත් මේක technical area එකක්. මේකට specialized කට්ටියක් ඉන්නවා. ඒක දැන් මේ specialized කට්ටියට උනත් මේක implement කරගෙන යන්න නම් ඒගොල්ලන්ටත් ideas දෙන්න ඕනේ. ඒතර මේ ideas කොහෙන්ද collect කරන්නේ? From where we can collect those ideas? How do we gather these ideas? So in simple term, we call all the SBU managers, right? SBU 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All the SBU managers. And get their inputs. How are we going to do this? First, what do? You might do a proper, knowledge sharing approach on the implementation part, on the lean thinking. මේගොල්ලන් සමහරලාට මේ SBU 3 එකේ ඉන්න එක්කෙනා දන්නේ නැති වෙන්න පුළුවන්. මොකද්ද මේ lean thinking? එකපාරට මෙයාට ඇවිල්ලා කියනවා අන්න අපි lean thinking එක implement කරනවා. Ideas දෙන්න. මේ මිනිස්සයා මෙලෝ හතරක් දන්නේ නැහැ lean thinking එක ගැන. So first, what do? So the management comes and say, hey, look here, we are going to implement the lean thinking. Lean thinking is all about like this. Okay, we are trying to maintain the efficiency and the effectiveness, so-called the productivity of the entire operation by minimizing the wastages in resources, timing, and everything, right? So you give a proper briefing. And then you ask them to come up with their ideas. You ask them to come up with how it is connected with their individual processes, business SBU processes, how the model is connected. Right? So this is also somewhat approach what you're taking to gather ideas to make your lean thinking effort effective. Right? So like that, idea generation is all about to make your entrepreneurial approach effective for the company. So now here the second part of the question is talking about what are the strategic approaches you can take in collecting ideas, idea generations. මෙන්න මේ entrepreneurial approaches තුන කරන්න කොහොමද ඔයා idea generations practice කරන්නේ? Guys, now you don't have to give individually 3 separate, but don't limit yourself with one. You have to at least give 2 entrepreneurial approaches. දෙකක්වත් දෙන්න ඕනේ. අපි හිතමු උදාහරණයක් විදියට මේකට දෙනවා brainstorming, right? මේකට දෙනවා horizon මම ඒක තාම කරලා නැහැ, අපි කරනවා ඒක horizon scanning, right? එතකොට දැන් මේ තුනට තුනක් දෙන්න ඕනේ නැහැ. You can give 3 also perfectly. Okay, මේකට brainstorming දෙනවා, මේකට mind mapping දෙනවා, මේකට horizon scanning. Perfectly okay. But you can give 2 also, but giving only one is, right, academically not sufficient. Exam එකට මදි. practically සමහරලාට ඕගොල්ලන්ට ඇති වෙයි. But exam එකට මදි ඕගොල්ලන්ට හිතේ okay, we'll do a brainstorming session and implement all these practically ඇති වෙයි. Right? එතකොට එහෙම මේවා කරොත් ඕගොල්ලන්ට පොඩි challenge එකක් එයි. ඉතින් එකක් දෙන්න නැතුව අඩුම ගානේ දෙකක් කතා කරන්න. අපි හිතමු brainstorming එක දෙකකටම කතා කරනවා නම් ඔයා පෙන්වන්න ඕනේ how do you implement brainstorming for this? How do you implement brainstorming for this? කියන එක. First approach එක තේරුණාද? අපි modules select කරගන්න කලින් approach එක තේරුණාද question එකේ? මේ question දෙක question එකට answer වෙන question එක build කරන විදිය තේරුණාද කියලා කියන්නේ. Sure. අපි තාම කරේ නැහැ idea generation techniques ටික අපි කරේ නැහැ තාම. Harshi, what about you? Chaminda, Navod, Maulana, okay. Asanka Prasanna question එක approach එක තේරුණාද? Not the theories. Clear. Right. Okay. Now let's look at these techniques. අපිට techniques තුනක් තිබ්බනම් ඇති. Right? So let's look at these techniques, what we can do. Right? So let's look at the syllabus. Mind mapping, right? Divergent thinking, horizon scanning. So these are some of the techniques, right? So let's discuss. මෙතනටම stick වෙන්න ඕනේ නැහැ. මේකෙන් එළියට ගිහිල්ලා කතා කරන්න පුළුවන්, but මේ සම්පූර්ණයෙන්ම එළියට ගිහිල්ලා කතා කරන්න එපා. Right? මෙතන brainstorming දීලා නැහැ. ඒතර අපිට brainstorming ගන්න පුළුවන්. ඒ වගේ තියෙනවා. Right? That is one of the significant models you can use. So let's look at how we do it. So mind mapping, okay, let's say you suggest the mind mapping for this. Example, like the mind mapping. So how do you practice mind mapping? What is the technique you are implementing for mind mapping? So let's say you talk about lean thinking as an example. So you're connecting with couple of people to come up with their ideas and views connected to the mind lean thinking one. Some might say, okay, cost reduction. Cost reduction. Right? Some might say reduce wastage. Some might say increase, okay, let's say increase the time efficiency. So like that, එක ideas, right? සමහර අය කියයි, right? Okay, quality enhancement. Process, තව එක්කෙනෙක් කියයි process enhancement. ඔය වගේ එක ideas එක minds වලින් එයි. So අපි මොකද්ද කරන්නේ? අපි key point එකක් දීලා මේ point එකට අදාළ දේවල්, I mean, let's say you bring all the SBU leaders into it, SBU managers into it, and you collect their ideas with whatever the key point you are trying to enhance, you are trying to focus, you are trying to collect the data. So then another person might talk about, okay, you might say, okay, cost reduction as an example. So another person might add their views on the cost reduction. So they might say, okay, the cost reduction. How? What percentage of cost reduction? Another person might say the cost reduction only in a from the entire area only in one part of the entire process, you reduce the cost. So the whole exercise is connecting your, people, those who can give some inputs to your ideas and get their views about the implementation you're planning to do. And if you're initiating, you're initially briefing the whole case and come up with the key term, let them to talk about whatever the ideas connected to the key terms they discuss. So when you're selecting the theme is people for this mind mapping one is crucial. So you need to select someone who is having idea about the subject what you are going to discuss. If not, what do? You give prior learning for them about the lean thinking, about the Kaizen, about the opportunity recognition, about whatever the entrepreneurial approaches. You give a prior learning for them before you start the mind mapping exercise within them. So then what do? They come up how the entire entrepreneurial approach connected with each one of the SBUs as individual of the SBU wise or the whole organization wise, and they come up with their views around the concept what you are trying to implement. So this approach we identified as the mind mapping approach. Mind mapping approach. Now let's say you're trying to get, this is somewhat similar to brainstorming one also. This is somewhat similar to brainstorming one also, right? So brainstorming also, you talk about, you're giving certain ideas and you ask them to talk, you ask them to come up with more and more ideas around the scenario. But here you're focusing on tiny details, one at a time, not the whole scenario, tiny detail, one at a time, and get collected the ideas from these SPO leaders or whoever who is joining the exercise, whoever who is participating in the exercise. So you need to identify, okay, you can identify what is mind mapping and the brainstorming, right? But you need to look at, okay, how you are going to implement for each one of the entrepreneurial approaches. That is the challenging part. Now, let's say you talk about the Kaizen. Let's say you talk about the opportunity recognition. You have to properly synchronize whatever, let's say, the mind mapping or the brainstorming one around the entrepreneurial approach, what you have selected, and the way you're implementing that entrepreneurial approach. So you need to write in a way where you combine these two, your idea generation technique and the entrepreneurial approach. As an example, I'll take, okay, opportunity recognition. I'm taking that as one of the idea generation techniques. So how do you practice this? So you have to explain. So your intention is to collect opportunities, market-related opportunities from the industry and the market, from both micros and the macros, and develop whatever the products and services to meet those opportunities. So design the business process to meet those opportunities to enhance the competitive advantage and grow your business. That is the entrepreneurial approach in a nutshell. So you have to match with your company and write it properly. So how do you bridge the idea generation technique for that? So let's say as an example, you talk about the brainstorming approach for this opportunity recognition one. So you have to show how you are going to implement the brainstorming session. So what do? So you might say, we are going to, the brainstorming session will be implemented in few different layers. You're going to take a multi-layer approach. I'm just taking a hypothetical scenario. Initial approach, you're taking with the frontline regional sales executives to come up with their views to grow the market from their viewpoint in the area where they are operating. Now, let's say you have one executive, regional executive in Hambantota, another one is Tissamaharama, another one is Kalmune, Batiklo, Eraur. You have multiple executives. So the first layer of the brainstorming session, you use them to collect ideas. You bring them into one particular location and discuss. How can we grow your area, right, to do this? So like that, opportunities. How do you collect opportunities from your areas? So what are the opportunities you see in your areas to grow your business? So everybody will come up with multiple ideas. So you said, okay, now you collect the ideas from the first layer. You go to the second layer, the business or the regional manager layers. Then you said you do the brainstorming session to collect ideas about existing opportunities in the market from that particular layer. And internally, you're bridging the two layers and see whether the frontliners and the management or the regional layer see somewhat similar opportunities. Which means some of the similar opportunities you might see some accuracy. Regional manager මෙහෙම කියනවා, executives මෙහෙම කියනවා. සමහරවිට regional manager completely වෙනස් එකක් කියනවා market එකේ front line in executive වඩා. So like that you do a multi-layer approach. Single layer approach කරන්න පුළුවන් බැරි කමක් නැහැ. Right? So like that you show how you are implementing the idea generation technique for the selected entrepreneurial approach here. එහෙම නැතුව idea generation technique එක වෙනම ලියලා entrepreneurial approach එක වෙනම ලියුවොත් ඕගොල්ලෝ සම්පූර්ණයෙන්ම වැරදි. එහෙම වුණොත් එහෙම මේ මෙතන තියෙන ලකුණු 25න් ඕගොල්ලන්ට ලකුණු 10ක් වගේ තමයි හම්බ වෙන්නේ. ඔය දෙක වෙනම ලියුවොත්. වෙනම ලියුවොත් කියන්නේ ඒක synchronization එකක් තිබ්බේ නැත්තම්. So you need to identify how you're going to implement the idea generation technique to the entrepreneurial approach, what you have selected for your company. Combination එක යන විදිය පැහැදිලිද? Synchronization එක යන විදිය පැහැදිලිද? දැන් හිතන්න උදාහරණයක් විදියට අපි සිලෙක්ට් කරගන්නවා Kaizen එක. Kaizen is what? Kaizen means continuous improvement. Then Kaizen එක සිලෙක්ට් කරගෙන then you're trying to do the Kaizen only for few SBUs. Finally, it will applicable for the whole organization. That is a different concern. But you're implementing the Kaizen for production, you're implementing the Kaizen for logistics, you're implementing the Kaizen for the service operation, as an example. So, idea generation should come only from those areas and the people, those who are specialized on the Kaizen. එතකොට මෙතනට ඔයගොල්ලන්ට කියන්න පුළුවන් third party consultancy එකක් යනවා. Ideas ගන්න Kaizen implementation specialized people are there outside. So we are getting ideas from them. We are bridging the discussion between the Kaizen specialized implementers and the internal SBU leaders. right? And you collect idea from all the, related departments to do that. And you can talk about what type of ideas you're trying to get. You might try to get ideas related to the process of the SBU, right? Entire value deliveries in the SBUs, right? You know, the description or the practice they do currently inside the SBUs, or whatever the standardizations they practice inside those SBUs. So you can even talk about what type of ideas you gather from those SBUs, from those people. So you need to talk about, guys, don't go and explain idea generation technique there. Don't go and explain opportunity recognition, I mean to say the mind mapping technique there. You have to implement the mind mapping. You have to implement the idea generation, the brainstorming. You have to implement the horizon scanning and show how you're going to implement those techniques to gather data. So mind mapping and the brainstorming are somewhat similar approaches, but you're implementing in a different manner. So brainstorming session or even the mind mapping, you can even bring consultant third-party outsiders into the discussion table to implement this. So you even can talk about most of the companies, lean thinking, Kaizen, අපි ගත්තොත් එහෙම ISO, SLS, 5S. So those are specialized people outside, those who are consulting on those. So what do they do? Companies are recruiting in the sense consulting those specialized people to implement them in your companies. So to support them, you're pumping information from inside sources. So that is one of the idea generation techniques you can talk about in your outside consultant lage nalla hari me ideas කොහොමද generate කරන්නේ කියන එක you have to show practically. Theory ලියන්න එපා. Theory ලියන්න එපා. Another technique we talk about horizon scanning. We call horizon scanning. Horizon scanning. Now, depending on your industry, you might check for about a future timeline, let's say 1 year ahead, and look at, okay, what might happen in 1 year inside the industry. What might happen? So which means what you're scanning the horizon. You're here right now, right? You're here right now. You're scanning the horizon, right? Far ahead. You're scanning and identify by looking at the nature of the industry, by looking at the nature of the macros and the micros, what might be the changes take place in 1 year down the line, 5 years down the line. So that is the horizon you see. That is the horizon you see. And based on that, you collect ideas. So you talk to people and collect ideas. Okay, what might happen after 1 year? So when you're selecting them, when you're selecting horizon scanning, when you're selecting mind mapping, as I said, when you're selecting the brainstorming or whatever the idea generation technique, you have to select the relevant people who are capable of providing information. You have to talk about that also in your explanation. Then ඔයා ගිහිල්ලා horizon scanning එකට ඔයාගේ sales executives ලව ගන්නවා මේ අලුත recruit කරපු. ඒගොල්ලෝ මෙලෝ අදහසක් නෑ මේක අවුරුදු දෙක තුනකින් ඉන්ඩස්ට්‍රි එකට මොනවා වෙයිද? So when you're looking at that type of a approach, you need to take somewhat experienced, somewhat specialized people into it. So what might happen in 1 year to the technology side? So you have to talk to technology specialists. What might happen after 1 year in economic side? So you might talk to economic specialists, economist in that. So what might happen to the socio-cultural dimensions? You have to talk to the people, those who are specialized in it. If you're trying to collect blindly, you might not generate accurate data. So in your explanation, from whom you are collecting, what are the information you are collecting, how you are collecting, all these things you have to explain. All these things you have to explain. පැහැදිලිද? පැහැදිලිද? question එකයි approach එකයි පැහැදිලිද? මේ question එකට structure එකත් අපි ගිය සතියේ ගැහුවා. question එකයි approach එකයි පැහැදිලිද? Any question? Lanka question එක පැහැදිලිද? approach එකයි question එකයි.
Yeah, approach is clear. Yeah, approach is clear. But I have to go back and see the like all lectures first.
Yes, definitely. Navod, what about you? Prasanna, Navod, Kavish?
Yeah, I'm okay, sir.
Yeah, okay. Maulana?
It's
Prasanna,
clear,
you
sir.
okay?
It's clear. It's going on.
Yeah,
Okay.
for me, okay, sir. I will look at all recording, previous recording, and if there anything, I will ask in the next class, sir.
Definitely. Right. Now, let's look at the whole task. Right? Now, let's look at the whole task. In the sense, now you are synchronizing the whole tasks. Right? දැන් මම මේ දෙකම එකට ගන්නවා. Okay? Look at this. Okay? I'm going to explain the whole task right now. මොකද මේ දෙක අතරත් synchronization එකක් තියෙනවානේ. Right? බලන්න. The task 2 part A talks about මේක අපි discuss කරපු එකක්. මම මේ question දෙක අතර combination එක දැන් ඕගොල්ලන්ට පෙන්නන්නේ. මොකද මේක proper flow එකක් තියෙන්න ඕනේ ඕගොල්ලෝගේ answer එක ඒකයි. Right? So task 2 part A is talking about undertake an innovation audit to analyze the organization's culture, agility, skills, leadership, resources. Now what do? Let's say you select whatever company you are talking about, right? So you conduct innovation audit for what? To see whether the company is having innovation capabilities. Company එකට innovation capabilities තියෙනවද කියලා බලන්න තමයි අපි මේ innovation audit එක කරන්නේ. Right? We are doing the innovation audit to see the capabilities of the company to go for innovations. Now, when you look at the innovation audit model, there are so many areas to look at. But what are the areas they ask you all to focus? They ask you all to focus culture. They ask you all to focus agility of the organization, agility and the adaptability. They ask you all to audit skills and see whether the company's skills are there to go for innovation. They ask you all to audit the leadership of the organization and see whether the leadership is ready to go for innovation. They ask you all to audit the resources, human, financial, infrastructure, intangible resources, to see whether you have sufficient resources to go for innovations. So there, when you look at the innovation audit model, as I said, there are many areas, but you are focusing on this. So you analyze whatever the dimensions in culture analysis. McKinsey දාන්න පුළුවන්, culture web දාන්න පුළුවන්, Denison's දාන්න පුළුවන්, iceberg model එක දාන්න පුළුවන්. ඔය ඕන එකක් දාලා ඉවර වෙලා culture එක analyze කරලා බලනවා culture එක ready ද innovations වලට යන්න. Then you look at the agility and the adaptability. Structural agility. ඕන වුණොත් structure එක වෙනස් කරන්න පුළුවන් flexibilities තියෙනවාද? Process related agility තියෙනවාද? Right? Technical agility එක තියෙනවාද? Which means, are you flexible? Agility and the adaptability. එක තියෙනවාද innovations වලට යන්න? Because innovations එනවයි කියලා කියන්නේ you might see certain changes inside the organization. So do we have proper agility within the organization to go for innovation? If the agility and the adaptabilities are not there in the organization, which means you're not innovatively, you're not ready properly for innovation. If the culture is not supporting innovation, you will not be able to do innovations in the organization. You do skill audit. You analyze your employees' skills, competencies, and the capabilities, their knowledge, their experiences, their specializations. You analyze, and you analyze the organization's knowledge management mechanism, how the organization transfers the knowledge from person to a system or system to a person, tacit knowledge and the explicit knowledge, and how the organization is utilizing those knowledge to enhance, whether the organization is having proper mechanism to do so. If so, you will be able to go for innovations without any issues. But if your organization does not have any mechanism to manage it, innovations වලට යන්න අමාරු. So you are auditing whether the organization is there, whether the skill are there to go for innovations. Leadership. Leadership එකේ approach එක innovative oriented. Leadership එකේ approach එක innovation එකට support කරනවාද? Leadership එක innovation එක motivate කරනවාද? Or leadership don't believe innovation. Leadership talks about no innovation. Leadership is just bothered about the market, sale, no any product development, nothing. They don't welcome ideas from people, ideas from employees. They don't entertain people to come up with new ideas. So leadership එක අපි audit කරලා බලනවා. Ready ද නැද්ද innovations වලට යන්න? Same as resources. You look at the human resources, whether you have sufficient human capital within the organization, You look at the financial resources, whether the company is having enough money to go for innovation. You look at infrastructure, whether the company is having sufficient infrastructure, maybe IT infrastructure, production related infrastructure, maybe logistic related infrastructure, maybe whatever you name it, infrastructure to go for innovation. And other intangible resources like certain brand values, your certifications, ISOs, industry related standards you maintain, those resources to go for innovations. මේ හැම එකක්ම අපි ඔඩිට් කරලා බලනවා organization එක innovation එකට readyද කියලා. Right? Innovation means what? The new products. Innovation means new product. So you're introducing new products, new process, new system, new way of doing things. So usually what happens when an innovation comes into a picture, you need certain changes within the entire business. Or maybe some of the SBUs, you need to have certain changes. So which means, because you have to show one thing, you have to show the market that you're new. You have new things. So if you are talking about new things and not practicing the new mechanism, your external stakeholders like customers and the investors might not feel your innovation. Not feel your innovation. They have to feel that you're innovative organization and you're doing innovation. So to do that, some process changes might need to take place. System changes, people-related changes, structural changes need to take place. Need to take place. So you have to look at, along with this, how the organization change and manage those change and move on to go for innovation. So now you are looking at whether the organization is ready for innovation and change. අපි කවදාවත් මෙතන ready තත්වෙට හදන්නේ නැහැ. You're undertaking an audit, you're critically analyzing. You're not recommending anywhere in this answer. Don't go and say you have to change the culture like this to make sure that your innovation capabilities are enhanced. Don't go and say your system doesn't have a proper agility. So to make sure the agility is there, so you have to do these changes. Don't go and recommend like this. Because your question does not ask your recommendations. Question is asking whether the environment, the business environment, what you have selected, the internal organization, what you have selected, internal business environment, culturally, agility-wise, skills-wise, leadership-wise, resources-wise, ready to go for innovation, thereby change management. Right? If so, and if not, what type of entrepreneurial approaches you need to bring for your organization? What type of entrepreneurial approaches you need to bring? Let's say that culturally and commonly you identified certain drawbacks, system issues and all these things. And what do? You are recommending, let's say, Kaizen into your approach. for you to implement this entrepreneurial approach and go for entrepreneurial innovations, skills are not there inside the organization. කොහොමද identify කරගත්තේ part එක audit කරනකොට? Leadership is not ready to go for that innovation. කොහොමද identify කරගත්තේ? So you have to bridge them also in your answer here. Right? You have to bridge them also in your answer here. Let's say as an example, you would say resources are not there. To talk about to implement the Kaizen continuous improvement, you need certain system related, because you are talking about how you are going to implement. So you need certain changes into the system. You are implementing like this. These changes are taken to the system. And ඒවා මෙතනදී නැති ඒවා මෙතනට ඇඩ් කරලා මෙතන තියෙන ඒවා මෙතන enhance කරලා තමයි අපි මේ Kaizen එක promote කරන්නේ. In the sense implement කරන්නේ. Opportunity recognition එක implement කරනකොට අපි බලන්න ඕනේ, do we have breathing space given in the audit for us to implement the opportunity recognition as an entrepreneurial approach and go for innovation? Because entrepreneurial innovation is the task to whole effort. So you do the innovation audit, and now you are implementing, let's say as an example, circular economy as an entrepreneurial approach. And do we have space to implement the circular economy? If not, what are the areas you have to improve? With that recommendation, you have to build your answer. If not, if you completely isolated these two questions, you will not have the synchronization for final expectation of entrepreneurial innovation in your answer. If so, out of these 35 marks, you will not even score 20. පැහැදිලිද? Question දෙක synchronize කරන එක තමයි ඊට පස්සේ අපේ job එක තියෙන්නේ. දැන් අපි isolately run කරා, අපි isolately අපිට කියන්නත් පුළුවන්. අපිට isolately කියන්න පුළුවන් innovation audit එක කළා මේකයි result එක. අපිට isolately කියන්න පුළුවන් මේවා තමයි entrepreneurial approach එක. ඔය දෙක අතර synchronization එක නැත්තම් මෙන්න මේ task එකට answer එක අපිට build කරන්න බැරිද? Entrepreneurial innovation කියන approach එකට අපිට මෙන්න මේ task එකට අපිට answer එක දෙන්න බැරි වෙනවා. Now, when you look at the task, it says report එකක් generate කරන්න කියනවා entrepreneurial innovation එක ගැන කතා කරන්න. එතනදී entrepreneurial innovation එක ගැන කතා කරනකොට company එකේ innovation එකේ capability එකයි change management වල capability එකයි කතා කරනවා. එහෙනම් ඒවට address කරගෙන ඔයා recommend කරන entrepreneurial approaches මොනවද? ඒ entrepreneurial approaches enhance කරන්න ඔයා use කරන idea generation techniques මොනවද? That is how you have to have a synchronization in your answer. Along with that, remember your theme objective and do the wording. Those who have answered task 2 part A, now look at how you bridge task 2 part B along with that. මම සමහර ඒගොල්ලෝගේ task 2 part B එක answer කරේ නෑ, check කරේ නෑ. කීප දෙනෙක් මට එවලා තිබ්බ task 2 part B එකත් සම්පූර්ණයෙන්ම ඉවර කරලා තිබ්බ නැති නිසා මම check කරේ නැහැ. but task to part B අද ඉවර කරා. So that I can check and give feedback. මොකද just running at a glance, I saw the synchronization is missing. Synchronization එක miss වෙනවා කියලා කියන්නේ ඔයගොල්ලෝගේ ලකුණු කැපෙනවා. Question to question synchronization එකක් තියෙන්න ඕනේ task එක ඇතුලේ. හරි විදියට ගත්තාම task to task also you have a synchronization in your whole assignment. Task අතරත් synchronization එකක් තියෙනවා assignment එකේ. පැහැදිලිද? මේක පොඩි ට්‍රිකි මේක ඒකයි මේක මේ හරියට ටෙක්නික් එක අල්ලගන්නයි කියලා කියන්නේ. හරි ලේසි but tricky. මොකද ලකුණු කැපෙනවා අපේ ඒ ඩොට්ස් ටික හරියට බ්‍රිජ් කරේ නැත්තම් කනෙක්ට් කරේ නැත්තම්. Anything? Any question? Harshi, any question? Yes, Kavish, go ahead.
Sir, hi, good evening.
Good evening.
මට තියෙන ලොකුම ප්‍රශ්නේ තමයි සර් මේ දවස්වල දැන් CEC එකයි CDC එකයි දෙකම කරගෙන යන්නේ word count එක තමයි මේ කොහොමද හරියට manage කරගන්නේ කියන එක මේ මොකද
ඒක හරියට
ගොඩක්
manage
ඒවා
කරගන්න වෙනවා.
ඔව්
ඒක
මම
සුම්මගේ
දැක්කත්
සුම්මම තමයි.
ඔය කියන්නේ සර් මේ ගොඩක් කියන්නේ මේ සාමාන්‍යයෙන් දීලා තියෙන ලිමිට් එකට වචන 100ක් වැඩිපුර ගියොත් ඒකත් ප්‍රශ්නයක්
No.
සර්.
CIM එකේ කියන්නේ මේ plus or minus 10 මේ plus or minus 10% කතාව CIM එකේ නැහැ. මතක තියාගන්න. CIM එකේ නැහැ. දැන් මෙතන බලන්න මේ task එකේ 1750 words. එතකොට මේකට වචන 500යි මේකට වචන 1250යි. කොහොමද එන්නේ? මේ වචන 520ක් 25ක් ආවට කමක් නැහැ. හැබැයි 550 පැන්නොත් you are in a danger. හරිද? මොකද මේකේ නෑ CIM කියන්නේ නෑ. එහෙම tolerance එකක් දෙන්නේ නෑ CIM එක. දැන් අපි හිතමු වචන 1250 කියලා වල task B එක. ඒක දැන් මේක සාමාන්‍යයෙන් 1300කට වගේ ගියාට කමක් නෑ. දැන් මේක 1350 වගේ පැන්නයි කියලා කියන්නේ ඒක රිස්කි. එහෙම tolerance එකක් නෑ. CIM එක කෙලින්ම කියන්නේ you have no tolerance in word count. හැබැයි word count එකට guys now you're giving in-text දැන් මෙහෙම ලියාගෙන යනකොට ඕගොල්ලෝ in-text citations දෙනවනේ. and in-text citations දෙනවනේ. මෙන්න මේ citations ගණන් ගන්න එපා word count එකට. right? ඒවා manually අඩු කරලා ඕගොල්ලෝ word count එක ලියන්න. අපි හිතමු මේක ආවා word count එක මේ citations එක්ක word count එක ආවා සාමාන්‍යයෙන් 530ක්. මේ citations වලට තියෙනවා 15ක් විතර ගණන් කරාම 15ක් විතර තියෙනවා. එහෙනම් 515යි ඕගොල්ලෝගේ word count එක. right? තේරුණාද? Okay, either CIM specifically say utilize resources effectively. pages දෙකයි නම් කියලා තියෙන්නේ pages දෙකට එහා පේලියක් හරි ලිව්වා නම් ලකුණු කැපෙනවා lot එකක්. right? pages දෙකයි නම් pages දෙකයි. pages දෙකට එහා තනි ඉරක්වත් ලියන්න එපා. ඒක ඒගොල්ලෝ කියන්නේ අර 5 marks දෙන task 1 part එක සමහර ළමයි තුන්වෙනි page එකේ චුට්ටක් ලියනවා. no ලකුණු පහම කැපෙන කොටක් ඒක. ඒගොල්ලෝ කියන්නේ as a marketer simple theory එකක් ඒගොල්ලෝගේ තියෙන. it is pretty obvious. as a marketer you should know how to manage the resources allocated to you. right? now let's say ඔයාට $1 million දෙනවා project එක run කරන්න. right? ඔච්චරයි allocate කරන budget එක. ඔයා දැනගන්න ඕනේ මේක utilize කරලා project එකේ maximum අරගන්න. ඇවිල්ලා කියන්න බෑ මදි වුණා. ඒගොල්ලෝ කියන්නේ ඉතුරු කරගෙන එන්නයි කියලා. ඒගොල්ලෝ කියන්නේ 500ට අඩුවෙන් word count එක 500 නම් 500ට අඩුවෙන් කරන්නයි කියලා කියන්නේ. effectively utilize කරන්න. right? කියලා කියන්නේ. simple theory එකක් ඒගොල්ලෝ කියන්නේ argument එක ගේන්නේ. You as a professional marketer, you as a postgraduate marketer, you should know to manage your resources. ඔය argument එක තමයි තියෙන්නේ. ඉතින් ඔය argument එකේ ඉඳන් අපිට මොකද කරන්න ඕනේ? ඒක අපිට manage කරන්න. ඒකයි කියන්නේ ලොකුවට paragraphs පිට paragraphs ලිව්වට වැඩක් නැහැ. අපි point එකට address කරන්න ඕනේ. Don't bring the whole cake here. Bring only the icing out of the whole cake and explain. Right? Okay. Word count is word count. ඒක crucial. No option. ඒක මොකද ඒකයි ඒගොල්ලෝ කියන්නේ task එකෙන් task එකට word count එක mention කරන්න කියලා කියන්නේ ඒකයි. ඕගොල්ලෝ mention කරත් ඒගොල්ලෝ double check එකක් යනවා word count එකට. That is the danger. Because they will be pretty serious, not pretty, they will be damn serious on this time, right on marking. Guys, we had a discussion yesterday with them, and their eye on Sri Lankan market is pretty strong with so much of, so many actually, I mean, layers right now. Now you all can submit. Definitely you all have to have the lecturer's consent, institute consent. Even though you upload your assignment without the institute approval, without the lecturer's approval, they have given full right to reject. Previously, they were considering at least the second time. They were giving us a time to refer the assignment and give them okay. But this time, before you submit, you have to give. You have to acknowledge that as your genuine effort. You have to acknowledge it as your genuine effort. And so many things are there for you all to maintain this time, because they are keeping an eagle eye on this time for Sri Lankan students. No option. එකයි කියන්නේ. මෙමය genuine effort එකක් යන්න, practically ලියන්න. Theory use කරලා theory එක implement කරලා ලියන්න. Theory explain කරන්න යන්න එපා. Imaginary world එකෙන් ගේන්න එපා. Business case එක තියෙන විදියටම business එකේ තියෙනවා. Positive now positive and negative now negative, because you are talking about an existing business, not an imaginary scenario. So ඒ තියෙන දේවල් as it is. මොකද ඒගොල්ලෝ මොනවා හරි suspicious වුණොත් this time even they might go bit of extra mile and study the company what you have taken. Study the company what you have taken. ඒගොල්ලෝ ඒ level එකට මේ පාර යන මේකක් තියෙන්නේ. ඒ හින්දා genuine effort එකක් වෙන්න, independent writing තියාගන්න, right? ඔක්කොම make sure කරන්න. අනිවාර්යෙන් Turnitin check කරන්න, තුන් පාරම Turnitin check කරව ගන්න අපිට කියලා. ඒක free කරන chance එක කරගන්න Turnitin check කරන එක. Any question? පැහැදිලිද task එක? Complete task එක ඉවරයි. ඒතර 35 marks. Other questions තියෙන්නේ? Kaminda, are you clear?
Yes, sir, I'm okay. Understand.
Right. So we will be discussing the final task, not today, practically not possible. So එතන අපිට දැන් අපි මේ දැන් මෙතන අපි කීවා innovation එකට ready ද. ඒ innovation එක තියෙන condition එක අඩුවම අපි දාන entrepreneurial approaches මොනවද? ඒ approaches එක්ක අපි ගේන innovation මොනවද? ඔන්න ඊළඟ task එක කියන්නේ innovation කළා change එකට යන්නේ කොහොමද? task අතරත් මේක I'll be doing on Saturday. මේ task අතරත් සම්බන්ධයක් තියෙනවා. task පළවෙනි task එක environment එක identify කරගත්තා. ඒ environment එකේ තියෙන macros and micros කොහොමද business එකට බලපාන්නේ කියලා බලුවා. ඊට පස්සේ technology innovation එක technology environment එක landscape එක change කරපු විදිය කතා කරා. ඊට පස්සේ task 2 එකේ organization එක ඇතුලේ study කරලා ඉවරලා organization එකේ තියෙන entrepreneurial approaches බැලුවා. task 3 එකේ අපිට තියෙන්නේ ඔන්න දැන් අපි implement කරනවා innovations දෙකක් ගේනවා change management එක කරනවා task 3 එකේ. task 3 අතරත් synchronization එකක් තියෙනවා අපේ writing වල. task 3 අතරත් synchronization එකක් තියෙනවා. Then guys, so refer once again, even your new or even your previous students, refer classroom recordings from the beginning. සමාධි මම දැක්කා එවනවා මේ ගාන්ට date wise PDF එකක් එකපාරක්. ඔයගොල්ලන්ට ඒක එනවා නේද? මම දැක්ක WhatsApp group එකේ let me see it is there. date wise එනවා PDF එකක් subject තුනට ඒ flow එක refer කරන්න. ඒ කියන්නේ අතරින් පතර refer කරන්න එපා. especially the newcomers. අතරින් පතර refer කරන්න එපා. ඒ date පිළිවෙලට refer කරගෙන යන්න recordings ටික. මොකද date එකත් එක්ක තමයි අපි assignment එකේ task ටික යන්නේ. ඔයගොල්ලෝ අතරින් පතර refer කරන්න ගියොත් අමාරුවේ වැටෙනවා. ඒතර දන්නේ නැහැ නිකන් අර කොහෙද වගේ තමයි වෙන්නේ. So you better refer in a proper sequence. ඒක නන්දක PDF එකක් දාලා තිබ්බ නේද ඔයගොල්ලන්ට? එකපාරක් දැක්ක එක. I don't know. කොහොමද එයා දායි හෙට මේ recordings එක ආයි දායි. So refer them. Then they can then you can get a clear idea. එහෙම කළා කරන ඒවා ටික එවන්න. So I'm checking assignments. දැන් මට තව දෙකද තුනද තියෙනවා ඉතුරුලා check කරන්න. So I'll give the feedback to them tomorrow. Any question? Any questions? If not, oh wait. Okay. If not, we can quit for the day. Asanka, any question? You and Prasanna.
No, so clear. I have to go and come up with the background and the previous lecturing.
Yeah.
I hope I can catch up.
Can. Right. කොහොමත් අපි පොඩක් additional classes series එකක් යනවා. series එකක් කියලා කියන්නේ මේ weekends වලින් එහා ගිහිල්ලා අපි weekdays evening දානවා. මේ ඔක්කොම additional යන්නේ. මොකද අපේ target එක තියෙන වේලාසනින් ඉවර කරලා ආයි කතා කරන්න. What are the corrections කරන්න ඊට පස්සේ then you will be able to catch up again. එයින මුලින් ඉඳලම යන්න. I'm not going to stop the weekday sessions guys, so I'll be continuing the weekday sessions as it is from next week also. Right? We have taken the physical classes also on Sunday. 2 Sundays අපි ඉවර කරා. Then third Sunday කෙනවා physical classes. That is for the case study. Additional hours we have given this time. Right? Take the maximum out of it. මගේ target එක තියෙන ඔක්තෝබර් අන්තිම වෙනකොට මට CDC CEC ඔක්තෝබර් අන්තිම වෙනකොට අනිවාර්යෙන් අපි ඉවරයි. ඊට පස්සේ අපි ආයන්නේ brush කරන එක. case study එකත් hopefully ඔක්තෝබර් අන්තිම වෙනකොට November first week වෙනකොට අපිට questions ටික address කරලා ඉවර කරගන්න පුළුවන්. ඊට පස්සේ යන්නේ fine tune කරන එක. Right. Prasanna, any question? I'm asking because you two are new.
No, sir. Right now, at the moment, I can manage. I will go through the lectures, previous one, and then if there is anything when we meet on physically or online, I will ask from you, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Okay, guys. Then thank you very much. We'll meet up on Saturday. Once again, Saturday evening.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Good night.
Thank you.
Thank
Good
you,
night.
sir. Good night.
Good night.
Thank you, sir.
Good night.
Good night, sir.
Good
Thank
night.
you, sir.